What's up, guys? Welcome back to episode 9 of the Eastgate Exchange podcast, the show where we talk about electric skateboards, the Eastgate community, pretty much anything electric skateboard related. And that's kind of how I introduce the show every single week. I say the same thing every week. So if you're not bored yet, good job, I guess. Thank you. So with me this week, I have Jacob. Jacob, you're here. You're here every week.
Here. It took me 9 weeks to finally get this couch, by the way.
Dude, yeah. As you guys may have seen, we have kind of a new set we're dealing with right now. So hopefully it looks a little bit nicer, a little bit better. I know the pillows and such feel a lot better than our metal folding chairs, but you know what?
Man.
No tables or anything, so you guys can kind of see us.
It's a long hour.
Yeah, it is, right?
It's a long hour.
And then with us as well, we have Mark, my brother Mark, support team, shipping manager.
Yep. This is my second podcast episode. I have not done all 9 like you guys.
Yes, you were on the first one.
Yeah.
And now you were on episode 9. So 8 episodes later, or 7 episodes later, I guess.
It's been a while.
It's been a minute. I'm so happy you did your hair for us today. Looking fresh. Yeah. I feel like we have a pretty solid show today, though. I'm excited. First things first, I have a couple updates on the Eastgate convention. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, we are hosting a convention here in Vegas on March 26th and 27th, dedicated to electric skateboards. It blows my mind, there's still no convention for the Eastgate community, and we are here to change that. So a couple updates. So you can go to our website, eastgatecon.com, if you want to see a full list of our vendors, our confirmed vendors, as far as like all the companies who are showing up, gonna have booths and stuff. We've been doing private invitations, so it's slowly adding to the list, but we're getting there. So we have a couple updates. So Rubster, I never heard of them before, but they are a confirmed vendor as of a couple days ago.
Cool.
It is a 2-wheeled electric skateboard. So it's kind of like, imagine an electric scooter that you stand on, but no handlebars.
No handlebars.
No handlebars at all. It's got 2 wheels, and you balance on it. And as you lean, there's these special bearings in the front the front wheel and the rear wheel that like lets you turn.
Is it like a ripstick?
Kind of, but it doesn't swivel. Kind of like a speedboard, the speedboard that never was a thing.
Ooh.
I don't know. I guess
that's another show.
Yeah, that's another show. I don't know. And then also
companies that
just didn't pan out.
Make it.
Yeah,
I got one of those.
Yeah. And then Colorado Caddy, he's a pretty well-known electric skateboarder on Instagram and on social media. He's just recently become an ambassador for Evolve.
Yep.
He's super proud of that. He's a badass skater. He will be speaking at the convention, so that's new as well. So that's our first confirmed speaker. We haven't really been trying to get. That's one thing I haven't been doing yet, is pushing for speakers. But now this next few weeks, we're going to start pushing to try to fill out our speaking.
How many vendors are you up to?
So we're up to 8 right now. So I'm not going to go through the whole list because we're going to waste precious time. But it'll also. I'll make you go to the website and look at it.
Yeah.
Go check out our website. And if there are companies that are not on that list yet, start badgering them because they'll show up. They'll all show up. We just got to convince everybody that it's going to be the event to be at. And I think it'll work out.
Yeah.
Okay. So speaking of events, so that's Eastgate Con. I like, and if there are updates, we'll talk about it. If there's no updates, we won't talk about it. So there goes the updates. The next thing I want to talk about is, so a week not last week, but the week before we had Cole and TJ on with Shred City Racing League and Shred Quarters.
Boys,
Yep. So they had their very first race here in Vegas. Their venue got pulled out from under them like a week before their event, but they figured it out. We ended up going to like this skate park that had this big, like, it kind of looked like a track, but it really wasn't a track, but it worked out as a track. And they hosted their very first event. It was like One Wheels versus Summerboard type. That was like their vibe going. And they had about 12 riders or so. So it was a relatively smaller event as far as like a big event. But, it was, for the first event, it was well organized. They had the CEO of Summerboard was actually there and raced.
That dude rips.
That dude rips. Like, because Summerboards, they're hard. Like, I've never ridden one, but just by looking at them, I know they're difficult to ride. But the CEO can ride his board, let me tell you.
There was a guy that came in with one to MBoards like probably a month.
Yes.
ago.
He was
He
there.
was there.
Right? Yeah,
Oh,
he was
really?
there.
He was there and
yeah.
he raced.
Cool
Yes.
dude. Yeah.
He's a very
Yeah.
cool dude.
They had a good group of the Summerboard guys. They had another builder there. They had, of course, their ambassadors, the CEO. So they had a
Yeah.
good showing.
Yep.
Maybe I kind of made a joke, but maybe not such a good showing for his boards. He had they beat him up, right? They beat him up. So they had a couple what would you call them, loose boards and but again, these guys were ripping so hard. Like I give them props 100%.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Cole and TJ put their boards through hell. So when they fall apart
It
a
was
little bit,
crazy.
I don't blame Summerboard because
Yeah.
they're not really
No.
designed for what they're doing.
These
Yeah.
things are tanks. Don't get me wrong. They are
Yeah.
absolute tanks. They beat on these things so hard. It was
Yep.
really cool to see him.
Yep.
It was cool to see the CEO rip it as hard as he did.
Yeah. But it was really cool. They had a, first, second, and third place. They had trophies and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
They did it was pretty much a simple like tournament style. Like everyone did a time trial lap. Everyone their best time got put on a board, and then you got seated next to a person that had a similar time as you. And then they started going head to head until they made it to like the final three, and then that's how they kind of figured it out. And it was pretty good. It worked out really well. There's a bunch of videos on it on social media.
The one wheel guys did a really good job of keeping up with that too.
Yes.
It was a different style race for them. It was very smooth.
Yep.
But they didn't have the advantage of the Summerboard with the power. But
Yeah.
Right.
those dudes did really good too. That was
Yeah,
cool.
they did.
That was cool.
For
Be
sure.
nice to see maybe another class or something with regular Eastgates.
Oh, for sure. And they'll
We
get
tried
there.
it, but-
Yeah, they'll get there. I know. I've talked to Cole. He's really stoked about expanding what boards are able to participate. Now in the type of track they had last week, there was no way to get pretty much any other Eastgate on there.
Yeah.
It was pretty tricky.
It's very tricky, but I think the future events he'll have a more like class friendly courses that we can do, and I think and then at that point we'll be there, and
Yeah.
maybe I'll race, maybe probably won't.
Was it
But,
all like sign up on the spot, or were
No,
all
they
these
sold
people
tickets
coming in?
They did tickets beforehand. Someone drove all the way from California to do
Yeah.
it, which I thought was really cool.
Couple
Anyway,
guys.
it was really awesome. I just wanted to give our viewers some closure because we had talked about that event. Event went well, and Cole ended up winning the entire event, his own event.
Wow.
So he bought this first place trophy to give out, and then ended up keeping it, which I think is kind of funny.
It's all right.
Well, whatever.
He earned it.
But anyways, yeah. So I just want to kind of visit that. Okay, so another quick story. Last week we were joking about getting a DUI on electric skateboard, and if that was legal or not legal, and there was confusion on that. Again, I'm not sitting here trying to tell anyone that they should go drinking and riding. That is the dumbest idea ever. It was just hypothetical, right?
Yeah.
It was an interesting thought, what are the laws type thing. I'm not trying to say I'm not trying to sit here and make a case for going out and getting hammered and going riding your board. But it was just an interesting, what are the laws? Because we don't really know. So we did some research. We talked to Maddie's dad, who is a police officer for Metropolitan Police Department here in Vegas. And he gave us some insight on the Nevada law. We also looked up some law for California that you're able to find. So Nevada law, it is not illegal, partly because Nevada does not recognize electric skateboard as a vehicle of any kind. And for you to get a DUI, you have to be operating a vehicle. So it's not a vehicle, not a DUI.
That's surprising.
It is surprising.
Interesting.
Last week, I was very convinced that it was going to be a DUI because it had some sort of power to it.
I
But
thought it was just if it went over a certain mile per hour.
yeah, so it ended up being it does not classify as a vehicle according to the state of Nevada, so it's not a DUI. California, on the other hand, does classify as a vehicle, and you can get a DUI for being on an electric skateboard. So it was kind of interesting. So, but for Nevada, John actually, I don't know if he looked it up or I just knew the NRS code right off the top of his head, but he said NRS 202.595 may apply, which is performance of an act or neglect of duty or wanton disregard of safety of persons or property. So pretty much just being an asshole.
Yeah, don't be a
Seriously,
jackass.
is what could apply to that because you're
Yeah.
just specifically doing something dangerous on purpose to
Honestly,
maybe hurt somebody.
I feel like the laws are just not kept up, for the times, because
Right.
electric skateboard in the grand scheme of things is pretty new.
Right. Micro mobility as a whole, whether that's
Yeah.
scooters, electric skateboards, one wheels, whatever you're riding, even electric bikes, there's this huge gap in laws.
I
I
still
get it.
feel like if a cop came and you were drunk and you were on an electric skateboard and you could have hurt someone, they would like
They'll find something. Yeah.
find
Yeah.
something.
Yeah,
to
so
arrest
like
you for.
public intoxication laws also
Yeah.
apply, obviously. So it's just interesting, but it's not a DUI
Yeah.
because like it's just not a. I think Maddie has something to say.
This is not legal advice.
Oh yes, no, not at all.
I
Not
just
at all.
want to clarify that you should definitely check your local
obviously.
local laws, and also even if you live in Las Vegas, we are not giving out legal advice right now. We are simply discussing
that it would not be a DUI.
Even if it isn't
Research.
against the law, I still don't think you should do it.
And eventually, it probably should be a DUI.
Yeah.
I mean, do we agree? I mean, like,
Yeah.
I think it should probably be a DUI because, like, if you ride out into the street on accident,
you could cause another.
it's a chain reaction,
Yeah.
right? So, like, another car can swerve into another car. Like, it's
Mhm.
just a big thing. So it's just an interesting idea. I don't know. Again, it was just one of those things where I had to think about it and go, I don't know the answer to that question. So I wanted to look it up. So again, maybe you find that interesting. Maybe that's a waste of time for you.
Just before we go too far, that is interesting because technically you cannot ride a skateboard on the strip, but it
Okay.
doesn't necessarily say you can't ride. Man, now we're going to get in a
Yeah,
rabbit hole here.
There's a
but-
lot of different
but-
laws, man.
So let's say you are riding an electric skateboard on the strip and you are riding like a jerk. What is a cop
In
going
the
to give you a ticket
in
for?
the street.
No, on the sidewalk. And you're
Mm.
drinking.
Well,
What
so
is he going to do? I don't even know.
So-
Now we're-
Yeah. I don't
so
know.
skateboarding though, there's a lot of places where you can't skateboard.
right.
And now the definition of a skateboard to us is not an electric skateboard, but
Okay,
to the
let's say-
law,
or
it's
a
the
one
same
wheel.
thing.
You know, I know
Right.
that people ride down there. I
Yep.
choose not to because it's so busy.
Right.
But does that mean you
Yeah.
can't?
Here's my thought. I think
Gray
electric
area.
skateboards would be the same exact thing as a bicycle.
Just don't
To
be
me-
a jerk.
It's the
Yeah.
same. To me, it should be the same laws. You would follow all the same laws as a bicyclist would.
Mhm.
So, which means you don't ride your bicycle on a sidewalk.
Yeah.
That's not you shouldn't be doing that. I don't
Yeah.
know if it's. I can't tell you if that's a law. I think it is. I think you are not supposed to.
Even if
Actually,
it's not a law.
here's
it's
the law. Actually,
bicycle etiquette.
actually, there's a law. I think
More
in,
non-legal service, by
yes,
the way.
I'm pretty sure in Nevada, if you're riding your bicycle on the sidewalk, you do not have to have a light on your bike. But if you are on the street, you have to have a light on your bike. Now, I'm not certain about that. But anyways, there are different laws with bicycles, and maybe that's where they
Yeah.
would get you is this is for walking or some
I'm
other
sure
law
there's
that
something,
prohibits some
but it
kind
would
of
just be interesting if they wrote on your ticket operating a motor vehicle on a sidewalk.
right. But
because-
then you can go over and get that dismissed because the Nevada would say, well, this is not a motor vehicle.
Right.
Right. I think California has it right. Anything that's not 100% human powered is a motor vehicle.
Yeah, I agree with that, except I don't like the implications that may have as far as registering your vehicle. So I have to have a license plate, like all those different things that come along with that. That scares me.
Well, I don't think that applies. I think it's just more about like the laws of the road
Okay.
apply to them
And
the same.
if that's the extent, I'm all for it. But if we're gonna start taxing and making me register my car with or my electric skateboard with a DMV, like that's insane. That gets
Well, like
nuts.
mopeds, you don't have to do that.
Mopeds, I do believe you would do register with a license plate.
Really?
Yeah.
I think
But
so.
you don't need a driver's
You don't need a driver's
to
license.
drive it?
Right. That's why
That
everyone with
seems
DUIs
weird.
drives mopeds.
Yeah, I know that, but like, why would you have to register it if you don't need a license?
Man, that's
Probably
beyond my
insurance,
pay grade, man.
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's not me. I don't know how to explain that one.
we
but-
also could be totally wrong about all of this.
Well, yeah.
No, I mean the main stuff I brought up with with it not being illegal technically is right. It's not a DUI, but other than that, the specifics of why I don't know.
None of us work
Not
at
sure.
the
I'm not a
DMV,
lawyer.
So
Anyways, okay. So the next topic is batteries are just super important. Like just batteries in general. Obviously, that's like the main topic of almost all boards. A new board comes out. What battery does it have? What battery does it
Yeah.
have? That's always the big question. And I keep getting asked because of these shortages. People are just getting cells wherever they can, whatever is available. I keep getting asked if 18650s are worth it nowadays when all these boards are coming out with 21700 cells.
Mm.
Now, Mark, this is kind of beyond probably your.
I mean,
Your
I'm
wheelhouse.
familiar.
You're
It's like
familiar.
30Q and 40T cells.
That's pretty much outside of our product line. The specifics, the chemistry might be a little bit outside of your
Yeah.
wheelhouse a little bit.
For sure.
You're not you like electric skateboards, you know how they function, but every small detail and spec,
Yeah.
Whatever. So to me, I think there's a time and place for 18650s. I still think they're valuable, especially if you're getting them at a good price. What do you think? Do you have any opportunity or opinion?
I mean, there's people still writing lipos in some boards. So
Right.
I think everything is an application based. If you can get your hands on something and you just need to build it, go ahead. You know,
Right.
I hate to say no, wait around 6 months so you can get this specific battery. I
Right.
mean, is it at the end of the day, is it that big of a deal? I
Right.
mean, I don't know. I have boards with all sorts of different batteries. We just bought, what was that, a Duracell
Yep.
deep cycle, something for this
Lead acid battery.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get to show that thing off. But so, you know, everything has its purpose, I'd say.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
You
a lot
can
of
get
people
'em, buy
probably
'em.
do it just for the money, like
yeah.
based on what sell, like how much money they have to spend on their
So
budget.
here's my opinion on this. First of all, if you are a like a brand, I think at this point you need to be selling a board with 21700 cells in it. I don't see why you would come out with something now with old tech in it.
Yeah.
Like at the very least you could do is upgrade your cells to 21700s. But actually for everybody else, 21700 cells have been so much easier to get. Like we were ready to probably switch over to 21700 cells in our store anyways, but the shortage really forced our hand to do it when we did it. I think we probably would have been a couple more months delayed, maybe even 6 more months, just because the 30Q pack's been working for us really well. I didn't really want to switch anything up. We've had really good luck and really good experience with everything. But because we couldn't get them, we switched over to the better cells. What I will say about 21700 cells is almost always have a larger capacity and a larger like discharge rate. So like you can use less cells to get pretty much the same thing if you're using 21700 cells versus 18650s. So like at that point, it's like you're gonna almost save money on them eventually if you're using less cells. Now our 40T packs are kind of expensive just because of the battery shortage right now. But if we were using 30Qs, they would be even more expensive than they are now because we need 25% more cells per pack.
I mean, that's just artificially inflated prices, though.
Right.
I feel like it'll come back down.
Oh, for
eventually,
sure.
but-
I think we are. I think we're seeing batteries coming back down again. But we'll see.
Yeah.
You know, and then as Tesla starts switching over to their 4680 cells, it'll free up a lot of the 21700 cells in the market. They're literally buying everything pretty much. So like that's kind of where we're at now. The P42A cells from Molicel, beautiful cells. That's like the gold standard right now.
Is there a new one on the radar? Does
So
anybody know
there's
the new
the
one on the radar?
P26As, which are
Okay.
the same thing as the P42A, except the specs are a little bit lesser and it's in an 18650 size. So like
Interesting.
those are pretty nice. I would rock those.
There you
Like
go.
those are pretty cool. They're smaller, the capacity's less, the discharge rate's less, but it's still a nice cell.
So it's a step
cheap.
above an 18650 and a step below a 217.
I mean, it's an 18650, but it's a step above like the 30Qs, it's
okay,
a step
okay.
above a lot
Alright.
of those popular cells. But so I guess to answer the question, are 18650s worth it? Sure, they can be, and there's nothing wrong with them. If you're a business or a brand, I wouldn't do it. I mean, it's just not a good look to use old tech in your boards. But if you're building something, go ahead. Like
Yeah.
seriously, go grab them because if you can get them at a cheap price, like do it. A battery's a battery, and you're better off getting yourself on the road versus waiting around. I don't know who is waiting around for cells or anything, but like might as well get going and get on the road. But it's an interesting topic. Like batteries are really in a weird spot right now. But anyways, it's exciting though. Okay, so we do have a badass build of the week.
Sweet.
And let me actually read the email I got that goes with the pictures. So I'm going to read it first, then I'll send you the pictures. Last week, we didn't show the pictures because I think we forgot to edit them in. So my bad.
Oops.
I will post them on our Eastgate Exchange Instagram so everyone can see them. But okay, so this list is so this is from Cody Leatherman. He's been, I feel like I recognize his name at this point. Like he's been a pretty consistent customer. He contacts us quite often, so he's a really cool dude. But he got his board finished, and he wanted to share his story. So he's got a backstory to it, which I have not read yet. So we'll see what happens. I have no idea. So backstory: bought my first Eastgate this year and loved it. My board was crap, so I researched for months about what I really wanted. So I don't know if he means like his original board was crap or whatever. So, but he loved it though. Apparently, probably loved having electric skateboard in general. But it was just crap. Okay. I found I really wanted to be able to diagnose problems myself and decided to go to a DIY board.
Dark side.
Yes. Once I came across MBoards, I knew I didn't want to wait and deal with China. Okay, so he's using us as a buffer between China. Okay, great. Anyway, took a while to get everything together and had to alter my plans many times, but I'm pleased with my first DIY board. Yeah, that's how a DIY goes. Your plan that you originally have never is what actually ends up happening.
Yeah.
So challenges. Sizing everything up was hard for me. With never riding a bigger board before, I had to really make things fit. I had to completely, geez, man, I can't read. I had a completely different deck set aside for this, but it ended up not being big enough and too much flex. I met with a local e-skater who had an old inertia board lying around, so I took his deck, which I didn't like at first, but now I love. Hated the way the handles look, but now I secretly love them. Okay, so he's using an
This
old.
will be interesting.
Yeah, so he's using an old inertia deck with sounds like a lot of our components.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to add some stuff like a battery percentage indicator and some foam under my grip and risers, which I had planned in my original deck but didn't get to because of the grip tape was already on. Okay, I'll redo those things soon. Maybe some new wheels too once these break down. Okay, so he's got a lot of plans for the future. I apologize for my second grade level reading abilities. So here are his specs. So he's got a 39-inch old inertia deck with the handles, dual 6355 motors, a 97 millimeter MBoards wheels, Reds bearings. He's got our fixed mount trucks, it looks like, our XL enclosure, our 12S 3P40T battery pack, dual version 4 vesks. I'm not sure where he got those from. Probably yes, but I'm not sure. Power
Actually from Flipski.
Oh, is it? Is that what it is? Okay.
I think so.
So Mark usually knows our customers' orders better than I because he actually deals with them mostly. Not deals with them. You talk to them. Power switch and charge port, VX1 remote, ABAC pulley system, nose guards, and risers. And then he said most machine hardware was bought separately and custom cut to fit better. Okay, top speed 35 miles an hour and a range of 18 miles, which is actually really low for a 12S3P battery. So he's riding his board hard.
Yeah, he must be.
Because literally I could squeeze 30 miles out of a 12S3P. But he also might be bigger than me. I'm not sure what his size is, how tall he is, how much he weighs. But then we can take a look at the pictures, which I guess anyone who's watching has already seen the pictures because we'll have edited those in. So you guys, everyone's seen them before you guys. How about that? So let me grab these pictures really quick.
We're always the last ones.
Last ones to know.
He likes to keep everything a secret.
For sure. Okay, so you guys can kind of take a look through those together.
These old decks are great.
So honestly, the inertia decks were really cool. It's kind of a sad story with all that. Kind of a jacked around story with inertia, but
I think I got into Eastgate just as they were on the back end. So I knew a couple of the guys local, but I didn't really get too much into it. I mean, I think this thing looks pretty wicked.
Yeah, it's a pretty badass setup. I gotta say,
why don't handles? What is it with handles? Why didn't that carry over?
I mean, I don't know if there's no good way for handles just never look good to me. Now, I think in this case, the handles look pretty good.
It kind of works.
I think that's one of the best examples of handles working.
This thing looks sick.
I think when mostly the handles on the cheaper boards, they've got a hole cut in their deck. I think that's tacky looking.
Gotta hook them up with some grip tape.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we gotta send him out some grip tape for sure, some foam grip or something. We'll have to figure out what kind of grip he wants. But anyways, I don't know about handles. Handles they just didn't catch on. Maybe I think boards are just getting so heavy nowadays. People aren't carrying them around as maybe they once were. I don't know what the story is with handles. I know we have never put handles on our boards. We don't sell handles of any kind.
I like the kicktails too.
Kicktails are cool.
I think more boards like that would be cool. What's it? The Onzo Challengers, kind of like that. The thing's got long range. Now they threw AT wheels on it. Did you see that?
Dude,
that's crazy.
It's got 3 half-inch riser pads on it.
I'm kind of waiting for it to be an April Fool's or I don't know. It kind of looks.
It looks so funky.
It looks weird.
Hey, someone's gonna have a good time with it.
Are those handles on the deck actually built in, or did he put those screw those?
Those are stock. So they're actually plastic handles
it's carbon fiber deck, right? Or is it what?
I think it's like a maple.
Oh, okay.
It's like a maple. I think there's a bunch of different layers to it. But they're plastic, plastic injection molded plastic handles that are screwed into either side of the deck. So then which are really nice. It actually looks really nice. It looks pretty good. So Cody, great job on your build. Thank you for sending those. If you guys watching have your own build that you want to show us, send them over because honestly, you will probably end up on the show because, we don't have a ton of submissions. So if you send them, you will be on.
Yep.
We love to see the participation. We like to try to, bring as many people in as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we're flying through all these topics here. Hopefully I'm not cruising through these topics too much. But, okay. So we have a couple questions we want to get to. We have some viewer submitted questions. Again, if you're watching this, every week on Instagram, we post a poll and you can submit your questions, about products, about general Eastgate topics. You can even just a couple of different words about a topic idea, and we'll talk about it. So just
who are you, Mike?
Who am I?
Who
Yeah,
are
that's a
you?
great question. If someone puts it next week, I'll talk about it.
Man, you'll talk about yourself all day.
So we have a couple questions. The first question is, do you have? And man, these usernames are crazy. So sometimes if your name's in the username, I'll give you credit. But if your name's just a bunch of letters, I don't know. But anyways, so. Do you have lights in your boards, or on your board? Are they battery powered, or do you connect them to your board's battery? So my board is just a stock Interstellar board right now with our all-terrain conversion kit on them. And I currently do not have any lights of any kind on my board.
No lights.
I do really want to add shred lights, the SL. What are we up to now? 300s?
Yeah, 300s
300s.
or the 1000.
Yeah, I kind
You
of
want to get crazy. That thing
I
is
want to put
bright.
1,000, man.
That
I want to
thing
do
is
it.
Wicked.
Those things are crazy. So that's what my plan is to do. I haven't done it yet. I don't really ever ride at night too much. So I'm just like,
Yeah.
I don't know. But I
Yeah,
do
I
want
never
to.
do.
You never do, yeah.
Yeah. The only time I've ever ridden was in like the mornings, really.
Mornings, yeah.
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 So
Yeah,
I don't
because
have
you
any
would ride around
lights.
campus a lot. And
Yeah.
you wouldn't really have night classes. That was your
Yeah,
main
no.
source of riding.
Mhm.
Now for me, we did go on. So Maddie and I have actually been on a couple of night rides in the last couple months over at one of the parks. And we were like out there with our flashlight on our phones. I'm
Oh.
just like, oh God, this is sketchy as hell. I can't see anything.
Kind of
Yeah.
not work.
Does not work. Yeah. So I'm like, So
I mean, typical. I have like a bucket of lights, of new, old tread lights, random, Amazon stuff. So the ones currently on the quad, they plug in.
Mhm.
So those things are insanely
now
bright.
those get powered off of the battery.
Right. Those are
Okay.
insanely bright. And there's 2 of them up there. So I do that with a shred light on the rear, and then I just ordered the colored ones.
Oh,
The
you did
effect-
order
yeah,
one.
yeah.
So shred lights, if you're not familiar, which I'm not sure how everyone posted about them, but shred lights just dropped their
Yeah.
new what are they called?
FX, the
FX ones?
SL-FX.
Yeah. So that it is pretty much it's like the form factor of a traditional shred light,
Mm-hmm.
except instead of like a lens coming out the front, the entire body is like a opaque or like a somewhat transparent white
right.
shell with an RGB like strip in it almost, and it's
Yep.
like the small little thing. It's like the same size as a shred light.
And you
And
use
you stick it straight onto your
mounts,
board.
which
And
is
you- Yeah,
nice.
it works with all their current mounts.
What's the difference between like 200, 300, and 1,000?
So it's based off the lumens, I believe.
Mhm.
It's
Oh,
the
so it's
lumen
just
rating.
brighter?
It's just brighter.
Yeah.
So every iteration that they pretty much once a year, they come out with a newer light that's
Mhm.
just a bigger battery. Like as battery tech and LED
Mhm.
tech improve, they can make these bigger and better, or I guess smaller and better lights for less or for the same amount of money they were selling the previous generation for. So like I imagine next year we'll see an SL 400 or 500 or whatever it is.
Something, yeah.
Something.
Kind of industry standard with, getting shred lights. You know what you're going to get with those guys.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome customer service,
Yep.
too.
So, I have to say the one thing about shred lights that I don't love, and there's no way around it. So I'm it's not knocking shred lights. It's just charging them.
Yeah.
Like I would rather them run off of my battery. Well, okay. There's two ideas
how
about
long
that.
do you need to run it though? I put
You're
mine.
right.
I put mine in a pumpkin for Halloween, and it stayed on for like 19 straight hours.
Okay.
It didn't. It never turned. I had 6 lights that were in
Mhm.
2 different pumpkins, and all 6 lights were still on.
Okay, that's pretty
insane.
impressive.
Now
That's
they were
pretty
like
impressive.
flashing, so not a continuous on, but still,
Right.
it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Here's what I will say. I guess if you have them hardwired to your battery, then you got to run wires.
Correct.
So now you're not wireless anymore. So you know what? I think I'm going to rescind my
Yeah.
my complaint and go. That probably makes more
Yeah.
sense. Because I would hate to have to run, 2 wires out the front, 2 more out the back. Just
It is
to,
a little funky when I look down and you see those because I'm almost like waiting for it to fall off the mount and just get mangled under the board.
You're the
tied
quad
up.
lights, you're saying, yeah.
So I haven't even really used them yet. I've used the Shred Lights on bike mounts.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
Go Shred Lights.
Yeah, no, they're a great company. And we used to stock them, and I have the opportunity to stock them again, but I don't know if I feel like we didn't sell them very well, so maybe we'll try them again. I know for our new boards we're gonna have that as an option, so we are gonna stock them soon.
Kind of
But
integrate.
I'll probably wait until we're ready to launch our new boards, which is going well, by the way. I mean, I haven't really been saying a lot about it just because I kind of wanted there to be some surprises, right? But it's been going well. It's very expensive, but it's going well. It's been going very well.
It's only numbers on a screen. That's all it is.
Yeah, it's just numbers on the screen. Yeah,
I'm just looking.
Money's not real.
Testing day.
Yeah.
Testing.
No, it feels good though. Like it feels really good to reinvest. What we make around here, like the money that we bring in from MBoards into new projects, reinvesting that into here, making the company better. It does feel really good to do stuff like that. So I'm really excited to, the Interstellar. It's gonna be kind of the same theme as that. But it's not necessarily a replacement for the Interstellar. I think it's going to be an addition to the Interstellar. And then the Interstellar is going to get a facelift pretty soon as well. New enclosure, probably a slightly different deck shape. We might move the motors out the back. We'll see. I think that seems like what everyone wants nowadays. That's probably what's going to happen. But the Interstellar refresh is going to come after our new board launch because I'm going to need some more time with that. Right now, all in on this forged carbon fiber deck because it's taken a long time to produce and it's taken a lot of money to produce. Molds, man, oh my God, dude. This is the most expensive mold I've ever spent money on so far. And what's crazy about mold is you never get that money back. Like it gets cheaper over time if you produce more. The first 100 units cost you a lot more than the second 100 units. But man, it's
once every little change though is
right. And that's the
something.
thing is if you have to change anything, it's bad. So I 3D printed my entire deck. I took the entire deck. It's like a 40-inch long, a 42-inch long deck. I chopped it into 5 sections, and it took me 145 hours or something crazy to 3D print this entire deck, glued it all together just to test fit everything, and it looks great.
I'm gonna go write it.
I did have, it's all out of like
thing's gonna fall.
The thing's fall apart. It's literally hot glued together. Yeah, 5 different seams. But it all worked out pretty well. I made a couple fine adjustments because I couldn't get the battery to fit in there the way I wanted to. So I kind of adjusted the way that the shape of the battery cavity was. So hopefully that works out really well. It literally just added like a couple millimeters on either side of it. It worked out great. But I'm so stoked to see a forged carbon fiber deck though. In our shop, it's gonna be so awesome.
I think it's cool you're able to give people access to seeing this because normally, you don't hear from these companies until they've made it big or they've already known. Right. And you guys have always been very upfront, letting everybody in on what you guys are doing, whether it's through YouTube or the podcast. So I do think for people that are either watching or listening or on YouTube, however, you're getting a really good view into the amount of work it takes. And I think it'd be cool to show off, some of this behind the scenes, but at the same time, some of this stuff you're doing, I don't think you should let anybody know.
Yeah, no, we'll keep our stuff secret. I think
I'm excited for it.
I think the plan is we're gonna have like a 2 or 3 part docuseries come out. I'm only telling people this right now because there's only a small portion of our viewers actually watch the podcast.
You're the lucky ones.
So those people deserve to know. We're going to do like a 2 or 3 part docuseries that follow the entire design process of everything. The prototypes, everything like that, the problem solving, and we'll release that probably 2 or 3 days in a row leading up to launch day. So that'll be a lot of fun. People can kind of follow the process along, and then finally the last day they'll be able to order a board if they want one or not. Whatever.
Cool.
I just want to ride this thing. I'm doing it for me. The most expensive single electric skateboard ever. I have tens of thousands of dollars in R&D into my own board.
It's just funding a hobby.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So we have one. Do we have time for one more question, Maddie?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, so we have one more question. I know we kind of went on a little side tangent, but that's me. I'm a scattered person in the office. So the question is, I want an all-terrain board, but I'm not sure what size tires I should go with. And I think Jacob, you'll have a better insight on this. Because my thought is I like the smaller tires. So I'm currently riding 6-inch tires because I like when the tires get too big, I just feel like the range starts cutting out.
Sure.
So I'm just like,
I mean, it does.
It does, right, it does.
It actually does.
it's not a feeling. It's a
It
true. That's a true statement. Yes, sorry, but I like the 6-inch tires also because it's not so. It doesn't seem so bulky. It seems like a little bit more lower profile. You're a little bit closer to the ground. So I kind of like to go with 6-inch tires. I know you ride anything but 6-inch tires.
Yeah, I've stayed away from them. Not that I had a bad experience, but they're just too small for the type of riding that I like to do, I guess.
Okay.
I see the 6 inches like it's like an F1 tire, right? Very low profile, something that I know you can get into some deep carves. I rode the 6.5 Trampas,
Okay.
and those were cool. Those were fun, but there
That's
was
kind
just
of a weird in
something-
between.
Yeah, it was a weird in between. I don't know why they make those, but it's for like a carver board that they design.
Okay.
It worked out fairly well on those 3D printed gears I had for I don't know, hundreds of miles. But now on 8-inch tires, I don't think I notice it. My board's a lot bigger, but I don't think I notice the difference in size.
Okay.
I notice it the most when it's you go through grass. You want to go
Right.
You want to go a little off the beaten path, and that seems to be normally where I end up. I either miss the turn or
Yeah.
How big are the tires on the board that you have the lead acid battery?
oh wow.
Oh, geez.
Those are
I think those are
So that was like
12s.
episode 4 or 5. We had this
Yeah.
giant lead acid board.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna make a video about it, like all about it, because it's
She's alive.
it's such a funky board that I think people need to see it.
Yeah,
We were hitting our shins on it for a week too.
yeah.
Yeah,
That thing
it's-
was hard to
Yeah, Mike.
ride.
Yeah.
Man.
Those things got. I think that's like 10-inch tires.
Mm.
I think so. Yeah, we
We'll measure them. But it's insane.
10x4s or something like that.
They're
So,
wild.
but I mean, you can. There's a Trampa board with a 10-inch tire now that you can get. Can
Jeez.
you imagine that? One of those
No.
monsters ripping
No.
through the.
The box that must
That's
be
crazy.
shipped in.
Dude, yeah.
I mean, a
Insane.
Baja board has 10-inch tires.
Yeah.
So here we are again. I'm gonna answer the same question. It all depends on what you're riding.
Yeah.
What you like to do.
So
but-
here's the answer. If you're riding around town and you're just
Right.
trying to have a nice smooth ride around a city because the grounds aren't so good, 6 inches,
Sixes.
because then you have the best range.
Right.
It's not so hard on your motors, not so hard on your electronics, like 6 inches. If you're gonna go off roading at all, at least 7s.
Right.
And if you're gonna go anything like crazy, like if you're really feeling like you're gonna hit some thick ass gravel,
Right.
8s.
It just
Yeah.
helps. The 8s
It just
help you
helps.
get through.
You don't have to go with 8s, but
Yes, you need to maybe adjust your gearing. I think that's a big factor. Also, if you adjust everything accordingly, 6 inches could be just as fun as 7s
Sure.
or 8s.
Yep.
If not more.
If you get those bigger wheels and people have like basic ESCs, are they just gonna blow their ESC?
oh
if you
yeah,
get
like
it?
if they're using like a base, like
Yeah.
a cheaper, like Langley Tech ESC,
Mm-hmm.
like those ESCs are not great. They're great to start
Or
if
for
you're
budget
for
boards.
budget boards or
Yeah.
for someone who's new. If you start throwing any like the larger the wheels, the more power that the motors need to consume to get up
Mhm.
to speed, and you're gonna start blowing those ESCs probably. So like
Yeah.
those are for guys like who have like some heavier duty ESCs, some Esk based stuff.
Mhm.
A Fockbox, Stormcore, whatever you're using, something that can actually handle the amperage is what we'd recommend them for. But mostly, I feel like a lot of these people who are asking have production boards that have the
Yeah.
option to upgrade to Evolve, or like if you're an Evolve, you can upgrade to different size all-terrain
Mhm.
conversion kits.
Mhm.
So like for our Interstellar, 6 inches is all we can do because the way that the deck is, the way that it's shaped, that you get wheel bite on 7 inches.
Yeah.
So our new boards won't have that problem, but these boards do. So 6 inches is all we can do.
Mhm.
I think 6s fit your board perfect though.
Oh, they fit
It's a perfect
perfectly. They
setup,
fit
yeah.
really, really well.
Yeah.
I'm really excited. I mean, Monday we get all of our pulleys, so we'll actually be able to launch all of those. I've been
Nice.
saying it forever. I'm saying it
Yeah.
for weeks. I think I said it like a month and a half ago or whatever. But we're actually dropping the Interstellar conversion kits, all-terrain conversion kits on Monday or Tuesday, maybe
You
Wednesday,
need the
somewhere.
belts too.
Yeah, so you need belts too. You're right. So that's the only thing we're waiting on actually is
Yeah.
belts. But we'll be able to start selling them
Yeah.
because belts are like a day or two delayed. But that's
Yeah.
it. But other than that, we'll still be able to get them on our website and people can place their order, and
Mhm.
2 or 3 days later we'll be able to ship them out. So
Yeah.
it'll be awesome.
That was a big change on that board. That was cool.
Yeah, no, I mean, because honestly, like everyone's riding the 97s on our boards. But I think my 6 inches on there, I'm like, this is a whole.
Yeah.
This is
How
so
much
much
do
more
you
fun.
think the range changes from 97 to?
It's going to be
6-inch tires?
significant.
Oh,
It'll
really?
Yeah, I mean, you're going up a big step.
Mm-hmm.
You're going, you're adding yourself 53 millimeters onto your wheels. Like, that's a big portion. So I'm going to say 30 miles is going to start looking like 20 probably. If you're a heavier
fair.
dude, maybe a little bit less.
Yeah.
But you know what? But I feel like it's worth it. To me, it's worth it because I don't need 30 miles of range. What I do want is 15 to 20 on all terrain. So that's what I need. That's most people. So you know what? We'll figure it out. Everyone's gonna be a little bit different, but I'm excited. So look out for that next week. We'll have our Interstellar conversion kits available for sale, which is super exciting. We're also gearing up for Black Friday coming up here pretty soon. So I'm not telling you to wait, but you can do whatever you want. You're an adult. You make your own decisions. Yeah, you can.
No, don't wait and pay more money right now.
On purpose, yeah. So, all right, guys. Thank you guys for watching. This is a fun show. Don't drink and skate. That's stupid. I don't know. Fun story, but not a fun thing to do. It's not. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. This was episode 9. We will see you guys for episode 10 next Saturday. So keep an eye out for that. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit the like button if you feel so inclined.
And
Helps.
comment.
Mark's gonna add a comment.
Here it is.
Let's see. Skittles.
Okay,
If you
Skittles
watch
it is.
the entire thing.
Skittles it is. All right. We'll see it. All right. See you guys later, and we'll see you in the next one.
Peace.
Peace.